Welcome back to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti, helping the children of fallen heroes. Here to talk more about that is Stuart Comstock-Gay, who is the president of the Delaware Community Foundation, and Alan Levin of Fallen Heroes Scholarship Fund. What exactly is the Fallen Heroes Scholarship Fund?
The Fallen Heroes Scholarship Fund was an effort that my wife and I conceived of a couple weeks ago after the tragedy that befell the Wilmington Fire Department, the loss of two heroes and the severely injuring of two firefighters as well. We were sitting around talking about their children and how their lives have now all been disrupted so greatly from the loss that they've had to experience. And one of the things that, while the state of Delaware will provide for education of these individuals' children, the ones that were deceased, it doesn't provide for education in a secondary environment and post-secondary environment. And we felt that these kids who have had their lives disrupted so greatly through the loss that they've experienced, they should not have their education interrupted as well. So what we wanted to do was establish a fund that would help pay for the education expenses of these children, up to the age of 25, for those that have lost their parents and or firefighters, first responders, police officers, EMTs that have been severely injured in the line of duty and can no longer perform their work.
No, it's a wonderful idea. I guess what I was surprised at is that something like this didn't already exist through government funding. But there's nothing else out there?
No, what the government does is pays tuition for the children of people who've been deceased, first responders. But this is kind of a special fund to say, look, we want to supplement that. And one of the beautiful things about American society is that philanthropy often fills the gaps that are left by other sectors. The gap here is room and board. The gap here is private high schools, so that you can get your tuition paid, but you still got to figure out how to pay to live at University of Delaware or wherever else. And so this project will provide scholarships to for those.
It's called a scholarship fund, but I guess it's a horrible way to earn a scholarship.
Absolutely. I agree
because normally when you have a scholarship, it's something you have to meet a certain requirement to get it. But is there any other requirement other than this tragedy happened to your family?
No, and we're still working out the details. Obviously, it's still fresh. But our hope is that working with the police, the fire, the EMTs throughout the state, we can develop a fund and the criteria that make sense. And our hope is to someday raise this to $1 million so that it can go on, because unfortunately the need is going to always be there. And this is one less thing that they have to worry about down the road.
And if I may, we manage many scholarship funds all across the state, from the bottom to the top of the state, that serve all kinds of different purposes. It may be for one school, it may be kids pursuing a particular field of study, and truly some of those would also be available to the children of fallen heroes. But what this does, it says, here's a category of scholarship that is unique to these particular families, and that's something special and that's something worthwhile.
And the neat thing,
go ahead. No, please go ahead.
And the neat thing is that, look, the state has offered tuition for Del State, University of Delaware, and Del Tech. But if you're a child who has the ability to go to Harvard or Yale or something like that, why shouldn't you have that opportunity?
And I guess the question would be, are you going to grandfather people in? I mean, what's the cutoff on this?
There's a starting date of January 1 of this year, so the incident has to have occurred January 1 of 2016 or later, and that was just, we had to pick a date, and Alan suggested that, and that's where it began.
And are you going to be seeking people out, or do they have to? I mean, I guess you'll hear about it, right? So,
I can assure you that through the fire services and the police agencies, they're all aware of it, and they'll be seeking us out, and we'll request for funding, at least once or twice a year, depending on what the need is.
I'll give you a last word.
Yeah, this is, again, I just want to say the generosity of Alan and Ellen to put this together. This is the kind of thing that happens around the edges between what government and the private sector do is philanthropy, is people caring for their communities in ways others might have thought of. And we're just happy to be able to work with these folks and so many others trying to do good for our community.
No, that's a wonderful way to end, too. It's a wonderful thing you're doing. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Larry.
much, sir. I
Thank
appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Stuart Comstock-Gay, president of the Delaware Community Foundation, and Alan Levin, who is starting the Fallen Heroes Scholarship Fund. When we come back, Kent County is about to be the home to a brand new sports complex. We'll talk to the people behind that when the Delaware Way continues.